Hi, guys. Hello. I'm actually sitting at my table today, not in my living room as per usual. So you're probably like confused at the visual because it's different. But I'm trying to test out this microphone because it should be a very, very good microphone. And so let me know how it sounds to you on YouTube because it should sound amazing. And if it doesn't, then WTF. So yeah, let me know. Also, straight off the bat, so I was gone from online for a few days. Nothing in particular, just needed some rest because sometimes I do. Hi, Joe. In the meanwhile, Martin donated $300 to the fundraiser for the thermal DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone, and that brings us to $2,087. Also, I don't know how many tickets $300 is. That's like what, 5, 10, 15 tickets? Is that 15? Yes, that's 15 tickets for the fundraiser. That's really cool. Wow, I've learned how to count, which is like, I mean, I know it's like an easy thing to count, but but like I know it's an easy thing to count, but math and I are not math and I are not um are not, best friends, I suppose. So yeah, how you got your main back? Yeah, somehow. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be longer than this, but maybe also it's already the 28th. Maybe that's, I don't know. Hi, Frank. Hi, Mark. Hi, Ozzy. Hi, Speak the Truth. Oh, hi, the UK. Hi, Prexis. Hi, Chanel. Sorry, I like clicked on your name and it whited it. Basically, like everything went gray, and I was like, I saw Shaw, and then I didn't see what it ended as. Hi Demon Orb, my favorite YouTube handle of all time. Thank you. Thank you so much for the corgi. Hi Paul. Hi Mark. Hi Matt. I like most Ukrainian creators, but you just have a bad attitude. Well, I mean, I have a bad attitude to people that have a bad attitude to me. I don't have a bad attitude in general. Like, I mean, you can name me specifics of what you think bad attitude was, and we can talk through it. The thing is that normally, but the thing is that normally, I am just no, here's the thing. I think the reason why you think I have a bad attitude is because you are used to seeing people that are just always very like tame and palatable and try to have people in the West really like them because we need this, right? Like I lived in the US for half of my life, and like while I'm not American, I also sort of don't have the inferiority complex that most Ukrainians unfortunately have because we've been put in this situation where we constantly feel like we're not enough, and we have to constantly um appeal to people. Like we have to be people pleasers, and we have to fit in, and we have to like act a certain way. Act a certain way, or talk a certain way, or you know just be like super nice and palatable and sweet, and like and do all of that. Like I'm not that. I'm a real person, and like I also know a lot of Ukrainian creators, and they're very sweet people. Like I don't think I've had any bad attitude towards really anything other than calling out straight up bullshit that just happens in this information space. And if you don't like that I tell people straight up how things are without trying to sugarcoat them, then that's one thing. But saying that I have bad attitude because I'm not sitting here like, hi, I'm Yulia. Um, please, just just listen to me because it's please do. Like what how is my attitude bad? Like what do I have bad attitude towards? Russian trolls? Sorry. Like I will. Like, what? You think I'm condescending because I laid out the things that the West does that cost Ukrainian lives? It's easy. Like, normally I start hearing that I have bad attitude when I literally talk about the US and NATO the way that things really are. And I'm not going to back down from that because I, sorry, like, I'm also a US taxpayer, okay? Like, and I've been a US taxpayer for 13 years. So technically, I have all of the rights and reasons to talk about the US and what the US does and what the US doesn't, right? Because I've literally lived there for like almost like what 14, almost 14 years, 13 years I've lived there. So it's like, I'm sorry, but I legitimately lived in that country. I've paid my taxes to that country. I've worked my ass off for that country. So like I feel like I sort of have, like I'm in a position here where like I'm Ukrainian and I have to ask for help, but I'm also an American fucking taxpayer and my taxes are also paying for this, right? And I'm like saying this because the first argument ever is that tax paying status, right? So I have it, okay? And I just don't like I don't understand why I have to pretend to to like sugarcoat things and say that nothing is wrong when it is. Because if the US was like scrambling and couldn't have given Ukraine aid this whole time, it'd be one thing. But it could. It just didn't because it didn't want to, or it had other priorities, or it was like whatever. And it was much easier to sit and look at these things when I was in New York, right? But when I live in Kyiv and I go to protests every Sunday and I see wives and mothers and daughters and sons and brothers and sisters of people that are in captivity, um and I see pain and I see death and I see PTSD and I see soldiers who are exhausted every day. And I see that it's much harder to sort of sit here and pretend like there is nothing wrong with 8 months worth of literally not doing anything because of political chessboards and because of elections and because of trying to like play a good cop bad cop situation. And yeah, it's easy to say that I have a bad attitude because I say these things the way that they are. But I think a much worse attitude is thinking that Ukrainian lives are fucking disposable and that as long as aid is sent 8 months later, we have to dance out of our shoes and be like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." Like we're grateful. Don't get us wrong. We're super grateful, but we're also like incredibly upset and hurt and tired because these things are not being given to us not because there isn't an ability to do that, but because there is a misattributed dumbass fear of escalation with Russia that literally costs hundreds of lives every time that happens. Avdiivka was lost not because Ukraine couldn't hold it. Avdiivka was lost because we were outnumbered in ammunition 5-1 and because our soldiers literally were standing there with fucking rifles and they were protecting that city. And so many people died trying to not let Russians through. And so many more people will die getting that land back. And those are all unnecessary deaths that happened due to a political chessboard. So yeah, I am going to call that out because there is a very big difference between being entitled to help that someone can't provide you and didn't promise to you, and there is a difference between just being like, are you fucking shitting me? Because you are literally choosing to kill people for your own political gain. And it's not one person, two people, it's multiple people. And yeah, sorry I'm not palatable for you. Sorry I'm not like a soft-spoken little, token Ukrainian that you want to see who is going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm grateful to all of my followers who donate to fundraisers. I'm grateful to every single American who's called their representatives and hounded them to pass this bill. I'm grateful to individual Americans that send money, help, care packages to Ukraine, that come here, fight for us, that train our soldiers. I am very, very grateful. I am grateful. I'm not grateful to the politicians who are playing with Ukrainian lives on the battlefield for their own personal gain. I am not grateful, and I'm not going to shut up about it because one doesn't cancel the other. I'm not grateful for that. And yes, I am grateful that the aid package has finally passed, but that doesn't mean that I need to be shitting myself and pretend like I am so incredibly happy and now everything has been canceled out that happened for the 8 months prior to that. But the reality is that it should have happened 8 months ago. And at this point, something that would have been a major, major help 8 months ago is going to maybe even out and level out the battlefield. But those people that died for no reason during those 8 months, they're not going to come back. That battlefield is not going to be evened out. So yeah, sorry. I'm very sorry that I'm not soft-spoken enough for you and I'm not palatable and you don't like me as a Ukrainian creator, even though usually you like Ukrainian creators. Because usually Ukrainian creators do not feel like they have the right to speak this way. Because then they're going to be accused of like taxpayers and whatever and all of this stuff. Well, so before all of these accusations start flying, I'm on the same playing field as all these people who are yelling I'm an American taxpayer, because I am one too. And unfortunately, that is something that you have to put out there in order to justify sounding not soft-spoken and not super apologetic. Trust me, most Ukrainian creators want to say these things too. We just, en masse, don't feel like we have the right to. But you know what? I'm going to use my goddamn American taxpayer status. And I'm going to say that, you know what? I give this country the same shit you give that country. And it's also my taxes that are going to this country. So you know what? Yeah, I think that package should have happened 8 months ago. Anyways. Anyways. Hi guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. Also, I want to shout out Martin again because all the Martin Ryu, Ryu, sorry, that probably was awful French. But anyways, while I was on my little 2-day sabbatical for getting back to speed on just feeling like a human, Martin actually donated $300 to our fundraiser for the thermal drone and for the HUR unit. For the thermal DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone. And yeah, and so thank you very much, Martin. And that is, I believe, 15 tickets for the raffle. And yes, and also I just got another donation for $20. I just need to see who it was because I didn't see. So 1 second, let me check, because everyone deserves their thank you. Was a very good New York type of rant. Oh, I mean, hey, I am from New York when it comes to the US. Lynn, thank you so much. So Lynn donated $20, and that is 1 ticket. Was a very good New York type of rant. Also, I started watching Yulia when she was in NYC, had to go all the way to Kyiv to meet her, and more importantly, Cine. Yeah. Hi, Kanti. Good to see you. Yes, right. You did meet Cine immediately. I think like you met me and Cine at the same time, which is like, which is kind of cool. Oh, Frank. Thank you, Frank. So we just got another $200 donation from Frank, which I believe that is 10 tickets. Thank you, Suzanne. And thank you so much, Frank. That is so very generous and sweet of you. Also, every donation is very generous and sweet, and we appreciate them all because they bring us much closer to the drone. Oh, Ozzy, I will meet you in a heartbeat. Okay, let me say hi to everyone because I think I only see you on CNN. Really? Really? You see me on CNN? That's cool. Can you tell them that you want to see me on CNN? I would love that. I would love that job. I hear the benefits are good and the paycheck is decent. Ooh, Grumpy. So Grumpy donated $20 as well to the fundraiser, which brings us to $2,327. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much. Oh, hi. Okay, so hi, Conti. Hi, Paul. Hi, Jazz. Hi, John. Hi, Ozzy. Hi, Juju. Hi, Mark. Hi, Paul again. Hi, Doug. Hi, Mick. Good to see you. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Y. Hi, Grumps. Thank you for listening to my rants today. Hi, Niels. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Kristen. Did I miss any? Hi, Bombi. Hi, Brandy. Oy my. Um, Mark already said hi. Demon Orbius already said hi. Also, Chanel, I don't think that your name is like I don't think it's not like I had a problem with the name because it's a difficult name. I think it's a cool name. It's just that I literally saw Shaw and then I'm using a streaming software, so I put like an arrow on it and it just went gray, and I was like, that was so awkward because I just like read half of someone's name. But hi, nice to meet you. I speak the truth. Hi, Frank. Hi, Karen. Hi, Martin. Demon Orb. Every time I read your handle, it just makes me so happy. Hi, Natalia. Hi, Diane. Hi, Paul. Am I hi, Les? Hi, Nicole. Am I missing anyone? Hi, Martin. Hi, LWD. Oh my gosh, I should really do that in the beginning of the stream. Hi, Carlos, because I feel like I am now so not cut up on anything. Okay. Well, if I missed anyone, hi, Crazy Cat, and hi, Martin K. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. Hi, Mr. Squiggle. Hi, Brax, and hi, Magda. Oh my gosh. Oh, Paul D, another $20 and one more ticket, which brings us to $2,347. Is it like raining sand from the sky? Day number, whatever is saying to marry me until it comes true. Sorry. That's just not gonna happen. Nothing personal, just really not gonna happen. Yulia, do you think we can expect to see the Crimean bridge targeted before or on May 9th? Well, I think hmm. Uh, I can't say. The thing is, I can't say. I would say, let's put it this way. I'm going to try and put away the information that I know to the side and just say this. May 9th is Russia's victory parade. And that's a very important date. And is Russia's victory parade, right? And so that's like a very big event for them. So if that were to happen, I would say that they would likely try to do that before than after. So yeah, that's just sort of, if they were to try to make a show out of it specifically for Russia's parade, then they would do it before. But I can't really say. Привет, Sasha. With a ton of drones. I know the feeling between trains, planes, the drive home, and the coma for 2 days after to recover. I miss so much, still catching up. Yeah, I feel that. Oh, you went back home. Aw. I thought I would see you at the protest tomorrow. And when you coming back to the show? Oh, I mean, whenever I'm invited again, I'll go. I don't see it, to be honest. Well, so here's the thing. I mean, we can speculate as much as we want. I do have some information, and I can't speak on that information simply because, it's just not something I should be speaking on. But I will say that, like, it's really it's like it's all speculation, right? Like, obviously they want to take it down. Obviously they want to do something that would impact it, and obviously, like, Ukraine has been preparing for it for a while now. So it would not be that far fetched to know to think that it would not be that far fetched to think that something like that would be planned specifically for May 9th parade. Um, Whether you see it or not see it, I guess, like, this is one of those things where we're going to have to wait and see, because again, I could be getting information that isn't necessarily 100% correct. I could be getting information that isn't like, it's very far from reality. I could be getting information that is outdated and something had changed. I That's the thing. Like, it's one of those things, like, when someone asks me, like, do you think Kerch Bridge is going to fall before May something, or like before June or before July? um all I can really do is analyze the data that we have, and analyze like the news that analyze the news that has been coming out based on, like, sort of like weapons deliveries and things like that. But in reality, no one knows. And the things that I do know, they could be right, they could be wrong, but I can't say them anyway. So I would say impossible is nothing. Anyways, Mark K, thank you so much for the $20 donation, which bought you a one ticket for the raffle for the Russia is a Terrorist State sweatshirt. And that brings us to $2,367 for the thermal drone for the HUR unit fundraiser. When will the new mobilization begin, or is it being opposed still? The frontline troops need a break. So, the new mobilization bill states that people are going to be mobilized from 25 and up, which is like which it was 27. And I know that a lot of people actually have been, like, criticizing this and saying that it should be 18 plus. And I get that, but our government, first of all, can't do that right away, because when we think about, like mobilization under martial law in most countries, you would think that people will just go with it, right? Because what other choice do they have? Ukrainians will revolt. Like, if you piss off Ukrainians enough, I'm sure everybody in this world had already realized that we will revolt, and, like, we will stand our own, and we will stand and we will figure out what to we will, like, go out on the streets. That's not good for anyone. That stops the economy. That like doesn't do well for the war effort. That is just not good, right? And we are a revolting nation. Like, we stand up for our rights. So it has to be so it has to be done in stages. Although I understand how foreigners are like, wait, 25, really? Yeah, really. Also, we don't necessarily, like, people in Ukraine usually start, like, getting married, not usually, but a lot get married at like 21, 22. They start families. So it's much better to let, like, 20, 21, 22-year olds just start families and then get mobilized, I mean, like, if we think of different reasons, but the main one is that it's just the society is already really exhausted, and the society is really mad and tired of 2 years of this. And I think that people would just not take it well. The demobilization law is going to be a separate law, and it hasn't yet been passed. So that poses an issue, and that poses a huge issue, because most Ukrainians believe that there shouldn't be any extra mobilization without demobilization. And I was talking about this a couple of episodes ago, maybe in the last one or the one before that, where I think the problem is that because no one really knows what to do in an all-out war like that, and especially when we're lacking ammo and the front line is at this, like, super fragile state right now, I think our authorities are very scared to demobilize people and remobilize new people. So they are trying to sort of, like, get more people before they can send people back, but that doesn't necessarily work that way. And it's sort of like it's kind of like immediate payout versus like better payout but later. I think it's just, honestly, I don't think the government is like doing anything malicious. I think that they just don't necessarily know how to make this happen without costing without it costing even more to the front lines. So yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult subject. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I would know how to do it better. I think very few people would. And even people that have dealt, even people that are like military strategists and are incredibly capable in this field, they have never fought a war like this. So I think that a lot of, Western commentators that are former military or military strategists or like ISW, they're looking at this mobilization/demobilization situation from a perspective of like a Western military in a Western conflict. But it's really hard to give commentary on what's the best thing to do in this situation because really no one knows, because this is a new type of situation and the people who probably do know are no longer alive because they fought in World War II. So yeah. Um so yeah, there is that. Okay, let me see. I've missed quite a few things. So the Ukrainians are the Eastern Europe version of the French. And I mean, I wouldn't say that we are the Eastern Europe's version of the French because I think we've been ourselves this entire time, and I don't think that we need to be a version of something, and we don't necessarily revolt as often, but when we do, like, our revolutions are big and they take down governments because we revolt if we think that the government is not representing the people anymore. So yeah. Removing the Crimean bridge is only symbolic. Russia is also constructing new railways into Crimea. To truly isolate Crimea, we need to address both the bridge and the new railways. Yeah, of course, we know that. But the thing is that Kerch Bridge is in fact symbolic, and they do still use the railway on Kerch Bridge for something. So, and that'll cut off their like traffic back and forth of Russians. So to be fair, it is purely symbolic from like a strategic military standpoint, but it is not only symbolic from other standpoints. But yes, technically it will not screw up Russians as much as like people like to believe anymore because they've been building different routes because we've been targeting Kerch for a while, Kerch Strait Bridge. But yeah, but it's also sort of like, the Achilles heel of Russia. So destroying Kerch Bridge is also demoralizing Russia quite a bit. Hi, Grandma Dude. Unfortunately, Uganda has never really had democracy, so though the worst of it ended, in general, it never really stopped. I think this is from a conversation that I didn't see earlier. I think they want to disrupt Russia's supply lines first. Yes, they do. That if Kerch is destroyed, Russians have nowhere to run. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Russians have been leaving Crimea too for a while now because it's like, it's very militant in there. As in, like, the beaches are not operational. There are trenches being dug there. There is lots of military equipment. There are airstrikes on Crimea all the time. A lot of Russians have like fled the sinking ship, to be honest, because they're just like, they don't want to be somewhere where there are explosions. It's just so not good. French are a version of Ukraine. No, I think we're all our own people. The government should give a big bonus to those who served a certain amount of time. That might help. Yeah, that's a good idea, I think. I mean, here is the thing, I think comprehensively there are a lot of reforms that need to be done. I think there are a lot of people that are very exhausted and they need to go home and they need to get compensated and they need to get bonuses. But at the same time, like, we're lacking a lot of people. And however, there is this thing, there is an improvement in this situation where people are actually now mobilizing on their own. They've been just waiting for the aid package to be approved because nobody wanted to get mobilized when there was like no ammunition, and they knew that they would just end up being cannon fodder, whether that was intended or not. So I know a lot of people personally who are now going to who are now voluntarily mobilizing because they wanted to go to the front for a while now, but they've just been waiting for this ammo pack for this like aid package to pass, so they're not going there empty-handed, basically. There are also lots of foreigners that are going to be coming back who served in Ukraine. There are also, hi Debbie, there are also quite a few new foreigners that will be coming because because there is ammo now, and so that sort of like improves the situation a little bit, not a lot, not entirely, but a little bit. Hi James. How well known is Crimea's Gothic heritage? I've heard some Crimean Tatar place names may have a Gothic origin. I don't know, because the Crimean Tatar heritage right now is being studied much more, much in a much more detailed fashion. It's more accessible to learn more about Crimean Tatars, but I don't know. I've never really connected or heard it be connected to Gothicism, but that's interesting. I will research that. Um. Oh, what happened? Where is Lynn? Just back home from Edmonton. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lynn. That's not good. I'm so sorry about your mom. I hope that, that she recovers from the stroke, and that uh, she will feel, you know, taken care of in the assisted living facility. But also 95, she's lived a long and a good life, Mm. Aw, trollolo. Hey, I love when trolls appear on this live. They think they come here to piss me off. I think this is free comedy. Yulia, the whole world is calling Ukraine the world's largest open air prison, replacing Gaza, because you have 15,000 border guards to catch Ukrainians running away. You are a prison state. Um, No, see, it's just you can actually you can leave the country if they know that you will come back. For instance, if you're going with a big fund, and you need to go purchase drones abroad or something like that, they will let you out. It's just that during martial law, that's kind of how it works in every country. Borders get closed that way for people who can be mobilized. And yeah, I mean, if you have really good reasons to leave and there is someone can guarantee that you will come back, you can come back. Crazy, right? Anyways, is the troll describing Russia? I mean, no, Russia never actually like closed its borders, but which is like interesting. But that's also because like their people really have not many places to go. But anywho, I think it's time to start on the news. Crimea is Ukraine. I'm from Ukraine. Trump. Sorry, I don't know if yours Trump is thumbs down. Yeah, I agree with that. Hi, not a butter. Oh, so good to see so many of you guys today. At the same time, because I feel like there are, sometimes it's anyways, I don't know what I'm saying, but basically like on some lives there are always like the people that are here all the time, and on some lives it's like half the people that are here all the time, and on the other it's the other half. And today I feel like everyone is here, which is really cool. Hi blonde bombsheller. Okay, so let me start. I will get to the top of the news for today. Okay, the United States announced a $6 billion arms purchase for Ukraine, Politico reported. Thank you, Martin. According to two U.S. officials, Washington is finalizing one of its largest ever military aid packages to Ukraine, consisting of $6 billion in arms and equipment contracts for Kyiv's armed forces. The package, expected to be announced today, which it was, will include Patriot air defense systems, artillery ammunition, drones, anti-drone weapons, and air-to-air missiles mounted on fighter jets, according to one official and a third person familiar with the plan. Funds for the procurement will be provided under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which awards contracts to U.S. defense firms to produce new equipment for Ukraine rather than drawing from existing U.S. stockpiles. So also an interesting thing is that U.S. Special Forces allegedly have been learning Ukrainian in order to cooperate with Ukraine better. So that's a very interesting thing because it seems to me like the US might be planning something in the background where like American special ops and special forces will be coming to Kyiv to train Ukrainian soldiers, maybe here. So it's, I mean, this is very much speculative, but the fact that the special forces now, with their new contracts, are taking Ukrainian classes is very, very, very interesting. Also, I forgot to tell you guys a very cool thing. I went to a book launch yesterday, a book called Saints by Sen Javelin and Sasha Maslov, who's a photographer. And this was it was a fantastic book and gallery opening. He's a photographer. And first of all, you guys, I met Roman. I met Roman as AKA Lila's brother. You know, I've seen Roman's TikToks like a long time ago, and that's how I discovered him. Then I met Rick, who knows Roman and Lila. Then I met Lila and her dad by accident on like Sunday after a protest. And then I met Roman, and I did the creepiest thing I could have done because that's just me, you know. And I saw him talking to my friend Yulia, who was one of the organizers of the gallery opening. And I just come up and I'm like, hi, hello. And he's just like, he looks at me like, you know, like he's supposed to know me because I'm just like coming up there and I'm just like, hello, you know. And I'm like, okay, you don't know me, but I know you. I'm like, I know your sister and your dad and Rick. And he's like standing there so confused. And he's like, I'm Roman. And I'm like, I know, I'm Yulia. Anyways, I did tell him that being very creepy is my specialty, and then I went to get myself a glass of champagne because that potentially was the creepiest thing I've done. And then he was standing by the bar, you know, and just like chilling. So I came up to him and we started talking, and we ended up having like a really good conversation about mental health and psychology and sort of like how the therapy for military has to be reformed. You know, that's my passion and stuff. And so we just ended up like talking about a bunch of things like that for like 2 hours. And a friend of mine then saw me and Roman, asked Roman to like sign a book for him because they were selling the book at the event, and you can buy the book. It's called Saints, and you can buy it on Saint Javelin's website. And so Roman signed the book, and Vasilisa signed the book. Vasilisa is one of the she's one of the people behind 20 Days in Mariupol, along with Mstislav Chernov and Yevhen Maletka. And I actually filmed Yevhen Maletka standing in front of his portrait and Tyra standing in front of hers because, you know, portraits are people. And I'm actually hoping to bring the book to the rally tomorrow and find the other soldiers that were in the book and ask them to sign it, because I think it's, you know, it's just, it would be great. And I would like to make a video about it because we very often see these like portraits and exhibits, but we don't see the people. But I want to show you guys the book. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab it because I have like Roman's signature, which literally says like, for Yulia or something like that. Nice to meet you. And I thought it was so funny because like, you know, what else can it say? Hi, creepy woman. Thanks for entertaining me for the past 2 hours. But yeah, this book features defenders of Ukraine, and by defenders of Ukraine, it doesn't only mean, you know, soldiers. It means all the people who have been defending Ukraine for the past 2 years. Whether it be informationally, whether it be, you know, whether it be on the front lines, whether it be as rescue workers. There are many portraits of. Okay. So this is a signature from Vasilisa from she's behind 20 Days in Mariupol. This is her and Yevhen Maletka. I believe she was part of the team in Mariupol. And it says, "We will never forget, and we will come back to Mariupol." And it's her signature here, which I think is like, you know, is a lot. And there are many faces that are very familiar to you in this book, and you've seen those pictures before because Sasha Maslov is a phenomenal photographer, and he's been taking a lot of wartime pictures of Ukraine. And I think this book, first of all, this book is fantastic. The quality of print and the quality of photographs is amazing, and it's really, really well done. So this is Roman, and this literally says, To Yulia from Roman. Nice to meet you. You know, and then like he saw that other people were putting the date in their signatures and stuff, and he was like, see, I don't know how to sign things properly. I feel like I should have put a date and like written some note to people. And I was like, dude, you'll get better at it. You did well. You're fine. But yeah, he's very sweet. You know, he's actually a great person. Like I really enjoyed talking to him. I excited to see him or run into him somewhere again. He's he's a really great guy. And yeah, I mean, it was like the most productive 2 hours of conversation of my life about like psychology and sort of therapy and mental health, and how it's being treated in Ukraine and the issues with it and stuff like that. So yeah, and I'm really excited to to fill up this book with more signatures of brilliant people that have done so much for Ukraine. And you can buy this book if you would like to on Saint Javelin's website. Also, potentially, but I'm not sure yet. A friend of mine that was there, he accidentally ordered too many books. And today, me and Masha were trying to convince him to raffle the book. So maybe we will do that at some point. Also, Jason, so our fundraiser is actually at $2,368.69, but we had just gotten another donation of 69 cents. So that brought us to $2,369.38. So there's still a 69 for you there. So yeah. Okay. Well, this is what the book looks like. Sorry, because I didn't even like show you, and it's fantastic. And I really do recommend that if you can and you want to, do purchase this book, because it's Ukrainian history, and it's just, look at how many photographs there are and how many brilliant people this book covers. It's fantastic. So yeah. Yeah, big book. Okay. Russia in flagrant disregard of international humanitarian law and in deliberate war crimes is employing tactics of repeated air and missile strikes against civilians in Ukraine, similar to those previously tested in Syria, said Timothy Hanway, the charge d'affaires of the U.S. mission to the OSCE. I must underscore the credible reports that the Russian military is conducting successive strikes in Ukraine against civilians, including medics and those providing aid to victims of initial strikes. The Russian government is repeating its actions in Syria, where numerous airstrikes have resulted in civilian casualties, including emergency responders and humanitarian workers, the American diplomat said. Hanway highlighted a specific incident, the March 1st, 2022 caliber strike on Svoboda Square in front of the Kharkiv Regional State Administration. 5 to 7 minutes after the rescuers arrived, a second strike with a similar missile targeted the building. This suggests a deliberate targeting of rescuers and those injured in the first attack, Hanway said. He noted that additional evidence of such Russian attacks has since emerged. Using these tactics, the occupiers have caused the death of over 90 medical workers, police, and firefighters, and injured nearly 350 civilians across Ukraine, according to Hanway's report. Russia is very well known for its double taps, and Russia does that specifically to injure rescue workers and medical workers. And not only does that result in the obvious, which is a lack and a shortage of rescue workers and medical workers, but also that really does defeat you and your spirit, because first responders are being killed. That's just a very vile act and a huge violation of international humanitarian law and rules of warfare in general. And it's also a really fucking shitty thing to do. Not that, Russia does anything that isn't shitty, but sorry, I need to plug this into my computer. Boom. There is a special place in hell for the orcs. Yeah, there definitely is. Also, Jason had just donated another 31 cents, so we are now at $2,369.69. Someone please send $1 so I don't have to read 69 and 0.69 ever again. Thank you very much. But yes, we're fundraising for a thermal drone for an HUR unit. It's a DJI Mavic 3 Pro thermal drone, and it's for an HUR, which is military intelligence unit. And we are at $2,369.69. And you can donate through YouTube over here in the links, and Kat will be so kind as to send the links in TikTok chat as well, I'm sure, at some point. That is so terrible. I would not be surprised if sarin was used in Free Frontline City, like what happened in Khan. Yeah, I mean, Russia. The book is 165 Canadian. Interesting. It's supposed to be 2,500 hryvnias, or about, I want to say, like $70 US. And it's it shouldn't be 165 Canadian, or at least it's much cheaper in Ukraine. Yulia, how does NATO plan to stop the Russia is dropping in the front line every day? 1 second. Oh, Paul D, $30.31. Thank you, which brings us to 2,400 and gives Paul another ticket to the raffle. Maybe 165 for international shipping, but like, are you in Ukraine now or NYC? I'm in Ukraine. Hi, radio. It's so good to see you. I don't know. And also Blonde Bombsheller, $2. So that, thank you so much. So that becomes $2,402, and Chad with $100, which brings us to $2,502. And of course, Jason again with 69 cents. So we are at $2,502.69. No matter how many times I try, it just always has to have the 69 cents. Hi, radio. Oh, you skipped, and Chad, hi, and thank you. You skipped the presentation of this book. It's the book called Saints, and it's from Send Javelin with Sasha Maslov, who's a Ukrainian photographer, he's a Ukrainian Canadian, I believe, photographer, or Ukrainian American photographer. And he's phenomenal. And this is a book of all defenders of Ukraine, not just soldiers, but also, Mstislav Chernov and a lot of people who have helped Ukraine, not only in the front lines, but in general, survive this war, are here. And it's a beautiful book. It has, Denis Radis in there. It has Roman in there. It has so many fantastic people. And I went to the presentation of this book yesterday, so I was fortunate, but I don't know, it seems like in Canada it's a lot more expensive than what it retails for in Ukraine. But also, to be fair, like, this book is this thick, and it's some of the nicest print quality that I've seen on books. And like, I don't gain anything from like telling you about this book, I just think it's a phenomenal work of art and history. So it has doctors, it has medical responders, it tells their stories. It has workers that have been helping dogs, volunteers, Redis, commander of Azov. There are a lot of brilliant, phenomenal people in here, and they deserve to be put into, Roman, again, they deserve to be eternalized in this book. So they can, so this is the guy who rescues people from the frontline cities. I actually met him too. I asked for his number so I could interview him, because I like, interviewing English speaking people so they could give their perspective on, on the war and on their efforts and what has been going on. The book is fantastic. Yeah. But so, It's a treasure to keep forever, priceless if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, I really want to get signatures of other people that are in this book, and yeah, it'd be lovely. Um, so yeah, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Latvia, Baiba Braze, has arrived in Kyiv for a visit. This marks the first bilateral visit of a Latvian minister abroad, underscoring Ukraine's importance as a priority in Latvia's foreign policy, stated the Latvian Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a Facebook post. Estonian MP and members of the Riigikogu State Defense Commission, Kristo and Vaga, embarked on a bicycle journey from Tallinn to Kyiv on Friday morning to raise funds for the Ukrainian Defense Forces. Financial donations are being collected in collaboration with the NAFO organization to procure essential four-wheel drive vehicles and FPV drones for Ukrainian defenders. The distance from Tallinn to Kyiv spans approximately 1,700 kilometers, with the journey expected to take about a week. Ooh. Hi, Kanti. This information is still from the previous fundraiser because I haven't had the chance to redesign it. I did not open a monobank jar for this fundraiser because, well, the monobank jar usually probably raises about 3,000 hryvnias throughout the whole run, and while every donation matters, and I mean like every donation matters, and I'm not saying it in like, you know, in like, I'm not saying it to be like, oh, it just raises like 3,000 hryvnias, but it normally just like it doesn't raise nearly like $100. Well, the other fundraiser did like, I think, raise 300 in the monobank jar, or 400, but it was in the duration of like 3 months, and I get more questions from monobank about these fundraisers than it actually fundraises, and like they freeze my account and stuff like that. So provided that I'm a person whose taxes are in America and technically income is in America, it's a little bit, you know, there are quite a few issues with it. Also, monobank normally doesn't work for foreigners, which is most of my audience, because, for instance, Canadians very often can't use it. The card doesn't work. So I found that in Canada, if you're using a debit card to donate to the monobank jar, it doesn't work. If you're using oh my god, if you're using a credit card, it does tend to work. But it depends. Same with the US. But yeah, but basically the amount of issues that the monobank jar has caused me in the past like couple of fundraisers versus how many people actually donate to it is just not very feasible. So PayPal, Venmo, Revolut works. I mean, if it's a larger fundraiser, like a much larger one, then I will definitely be using a monojar. But if it's something that isn't like isn't huge, then it just doesn't it basically causes me more problems than it actually helps. And oh my gosh, hi Yulia, here is some donation for the drone. Hope that YouTube doesn't cut too much of the amount. I don't I don't think it will, but that's so sweet. Also, we just got, thank you so much. Sorry, I am just so like distracted. Oh, wait, so there also is a buy me a coffee, which I'll address first because that one's easier. So which brings us to $2,527.69, and it says no tickets, please. And then 500 Czech. So I heard this. I know that a lot of people say Czech because like Czech Republic, but it's Czech, right? Like as in like, because Czech is, you know, like a little thing you get at a restaurant or like at a store. So Czech, right? Because I feel like I accidentally say Czech, and then I'm like, wait, it's Czech. It's Czech. So that is going to probably, after like Texas. It's $21.28, so that was $20, and that gets you a ticket for the raffle for the sweatshirt that says Russia is a terrorist state, QR, and thank you so much for your donation. And we'll continue saying it like check. Well, Sky, $2,547.69. 69 cents going strong. Okay. In Kyiv, due to the threat of a Russian missile hit, 2 hospitals were urgently evacuated yesterday. In particular, the Children's Hospital reported the Kyiv City State Administration. Actually, yes, we were convinced yesterday that the night would be really hot, and there was an air raid quite early into the night, and we were all like, "Oh no, this is going to be a really bad one." And then nothing really happened. The missiles went towards the west, and we were like, "Okay, well, that's weird." Then the missiles disappeared while they were going towards the west, prompting a lot of the discussion of what could have taken them down. And there are quite a few assumptions that many different people argue about. A lot of people say that it would be missiles that could be mounted on F-16s, but speculation. See, Life by Design morning, I think it was F-16s. Hi Naomi. So timely. You walked right in onto the discussion. But yeah, so basically so nothing really happened in Kyiv. Then there was a report from quite credible channels that there would be like a huge morning attack, and that's why the hospitals were evacuated, right? And we all expected sort of the morning to be very loud and very hot, and then that wasn't the case. And then the missiles literally disappeared, again prompting quite a few people, including Naomi over here, thinking that it could have been F-16s because of a particular type of missile that could be mounted on it and that could take down these drones and sort of missiles without it being like a huge bada boom and a very noticeable deal. So yeah. I guess we'll never know, or we will know in a little bit, right? Kyiv is red again on a map right now. Just turned red. I didn't get an air alert, and I get air raid alerts. Like, we would have heard it. It's loud. So we shall see. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin emphasized that the primary focus of the Ramstein meeting, which commenced in the afternoon of April 26th, will be the enhancement of Ukrainian air defense capabilities, which makes sense. It needs to be. Is it possible to go to Kyiv now for business purposes, or is it dangerous? I mean, you can, like, it's, Ukraine is dangerous in general because we're in a state of a full-scale invasion, but at the same time, like, our air defense systems have been working really well. And I would say that, sure, you can come to Kyiv at your own risk. Just don't ignore air raids and, go to the bomb shelter when air alert goes off. Usually you have plenty of usually you have ample notice. And it's Kyiv. Like, in places like Zaporizhzhia, you would have almost no notice or less notice, but here you normally have quite a bit of notice. Let me play you a video from United 24, and it's a video about a Russian misinformation campaign, or one of their most ludicrous disinformation pieces that was exposed by Ukraine. So, also Paul Ellis. Oh, sorry. I accidentally read your name, Paul. Thank you for your donation and one ticket to the raffle. Let me just put the video on the screen. I normally try to just go Pol E or something like that. Okay.
NATO weapons to drug cartels in Mexico? No, it's the Russian disinformation, and here is how it fooled the world. It started with a clip from a Mexican TV news report showing a Gulf cartel member with a US-made Javelin missile. The caption suggested the weapon came from Ukraine. The video garnered millions of views and reposts and even duped US presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy.
How perverse.
The Kremlin and its media protested the loudest.
Те же стингеры, джавелины, они уже на черном рынке.
However, fact checks soon picked a few holes in the claim. It turned out the video was mistranslated. The TV anchor said the weapon in the photo resembles javelins used in Ukraine's war. The item was also misidentified. In fact, it was a Swedish AT-4 anti-tank weapon. Widely used by militaries across Latin America, it cost some $5,500, a fraction of the price of $175,000 javelins. And here is the Western response to the story.
And we've seen no credible evidence.
Many experts are certain Russia fabricates such narratives to reduce trust in Ukraine and disrupt arms supplies to Kyiv. And the Kremlin is busy cooking up new lies right now.
So yeah, that's how most of Russia's disinformation works. They just take sort of like, they take something that you could transform into a narrative that sounds realistic, and they just run with it. And most of these are easily disproved. Some of them, take a little more time and digging to disprove, especially like those with pictures and videos, because people who are not necessarily, experts in those subjects will be like, wait, but that is a javelin. But there is a commission in Ukraine at many times a year that checks all of the weapons and the aid and how it's being attributed, how it's being used, and there haven't been any cases of misattribution of aid. And also, Ukraine is not selling weapons, you guys. We need more weapons. We don't have weapons to sell. Even if we were like a terrible country that wanted to do that, we just don't have enough to sell. So yeah. Also, there have been fake videos featuring United 24 Media logo that have been circulating on social media in the past 2 days. These videos spread misinformation and exploit their brand to deceive viewers. Remember to get your news from reputable sources and practice good information hygiene. So, one sec. So only watch these, only do these things if you are if you see videos with United 24 logos that seem questionable, or videos with any Ukrainian media publication logos that seem questionable, just always check if they were posted on the original source. And if they weren't, they're not real. In general, try to only repost Ukrainian media videos and news if you found them on Ukrainian media. Don't repost from random people on Twitter and stuff like that. It's always better to just to repost from the original source to begin with. Also, thank you, Conti. Thank you so much. The United States did pledge the $6 billion for the purchase of weapons for Ukraine, as announced by the head of the American Defense Department, Lloyd Austin. And here is what this package includes. One second, I have a breakdown. And so Pentagon revealed the contents of the $6 billion arms order package for Ukraine. The Department of Defense noted that it will order additional ammunition for Patriots, NASAMS, and HIMARS systems, 155 millimeter and 152 millimeter artillery shells, high explosive shells, and high precision aerial munitions for Ukraine for $6 billion. Equipment for the integration of Western launchers, missiles, and radars into Ukrainian air defense systems, anti-drone means, radar stations, anti-artillery radars, Switchblade and Puma drones, and means to support Ukrainian drone production are also specified. Which that is a great one, because one of the best things that we can do is produce some of these weapons on our own territory, because that way they get to us faster. And we can also, it's a really good thing to do for longevity and for future investments, right? Because that way we can have our own production structured, and then we can have our own production structured, which I think speaks for itself. Hi, Walter. So that's a very, very good one. Also, Ukraine has been designing and producing a lot of specifically combat drones that are very high tech and very cool and very modern. Like, for instance, these sea babies that we've invented. And there is also like a drone production plant in, I'm not going to say where in Ukraine, but they have been producing their own kamikaze drones. And honestly, like, the drone technology and drone design in Ukraine has been getting quite out of out of hand and very, very, very modern and very innovative. And there are now classes that you can take to make drones at home, which is a really, really cool situation. I actually know a person who is an engineer and professor at a very highly accredited university who has been trying to design his own drone parts and sort of like invent his own technology because he really wants to help. And it's really cool to see because with the era of 3D printers, you can actually come up with a lot of really, really cool things. In recent months, Norway has provided military assistance to Ukraine totaling almost 1 billion Norwegian kroner, approximately 850 million euro, as per a press release from the Norwegian government. Thank you, Norway. I actually don't know how to say thank you in Norwegian. So Lloyd Austin commented on the ATACMS. He said, not a miracle cure, but gives you the ability to deliver long-range strikes. Oh, thank you, Tara. We've provided ATACMS missiles to Ukraine before, different types, different ranges. I will not go into the detail of what we have allocated and how the Ukrainians will be able to use them. The main thing is that they have the capability, said Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin. Tucson talk? Oh, cool. Tucson talk. Oh, that's cool. Or Tucson talk? Talk. Cool. Norway is the best. Norway is cool. I really want to visit Norway. I really do. I see. The only thing that I remember very well from my childhood from Norway is unfortunately Alexander Rybak. And I'm in love with a fairy tale, that thing. And then I found out that he loves performing in Russia, and he kind of is like a Russophile. And then I learned that it also seems like he's been exploiting women and stuff. And there's just like apparently a lot of stuff wrong with that guy. So I'm very happy that he's not nearly as popular anymore, and I'm very happy that that Norwegians actually really don't like him. So so that's cool. That's nice to know. So yeah. Okay, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said that recent cases of espionage on behalf of Russia in alliance member states will not prevent the provision of military assistance to Ukraine. Stoltenberg urged NATO members to remain vigilant regarding Russia's covert activities throughout the alliance, which is something that Macron has asked Europe to establish a commission basically on espionage and on information warfare, and that's fantastic, and it really, 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 really needs to happen. In fact, it needs to happen so much so that I will tell you a story. In Britain, the Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS, has charged 5 men with crimes against national security on behalf of Russia. The men are accused of setting fire to Ukraine-related commercial property in East London in March. Another man is charged with possession of information relating to terrorist activity. According to Sky News, 20-year-old Dylan Earl, I think it's Dylan Earl, is linked to the outlawed PMC Wagner. Surprise. According to the version of the investigation, in addition to arson, he was involved in fraud, research and intelligence on targets, and tried to recruit people to help foreign intelligence services. This is the first case in which charges have been brought under the new security law, which is designed to ensure a tougher end to hostile actions against Britain, including espionage, wrote Bild. Unfortunately, the source is Bild, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there is lots of espionage happening in different countries, and quite a few of those people are being arrested, which is good on the one hand, but that also only shows how many more there are that we have no idea exist, and which is why these counter disinformation measures and sort of like an official body that investigates these things in especially the EU is very, very needed. And I would say that the types of MI5 and MI6 and CIA and just in general intelligence really need to pay much closer attention and take it much more seriously, because I've said this many times on many lives. Usually when you think of spies, you think of people that are integrated in anything but university professors, journalists, cultural center workers. But when you think of Russia, the people that are spying for Russia and doing all of these horrendous things for Russia are not always, I would say, like, sophisticated, right? Sometimes it's just random regular people that are not actually trained to be intelligence or spies. They are just infiltrated into societies, and they, help procure weapons. They help move the parts that are normally for various weapons that are normally not available to Russia. So yeah, Russia is just like Russia has a spider web of people that are infiltrated. They pay their professors, give them grants, and give them lots of money to establish programs at leading universities. They integrate journalists. They bring in, like, they build Russia's cultural centers, and all of these are, usually, they're just sorry, they're usually, they just look like sort of like a place where you can learn about Russia and Russian, and they are actually propaganda centrals and brainwashing machines. Also, let me see. I don't think there is an air raid alarm because I don't know where you guys are seeing it, because I'm not, I'm not hearing it. There is nothing. I haven't gotten a single notification. No, I'm looking at my air raid app and there is nothing. There is not an air raid in Kyiv. In the interwar era weren't exactly sophisticated either, because most intelligent people had no interest in such activities. Well, yeah, I mean, in Russia it's both. In Russia it's both, right? It's both sophisticated people and not sophisticated people. But the thing is, like, Russia has, like, sheer numbers. Like, they have so many people, and it's really, this doesn't work. I think this saying works for Russia the best and really does not work any better for any other country. And it's, you can take a person out of Russia, but you can't take Russia out of a person, because they form their own cliques, they form their own mini Russias wherever they move. So it's sort of like you never really leave the society, you never leave the news bubble. You're always there. And so most Russians, even those that have lived abroad for many, many years, are connected to Russia. And a lot of them still work with other Russians and work in Russia and do all of these things. So a lot of, like, really average people are connected to doing incredibly horrendous things for Russia. Belgium will accelerate the delivery of F-16s to Ukraine. This will happen already in 2024. Belgian Prime Minister De Croo called the decision to supply F-16s a big step for the defense of Ukraine, recalling that Belgium was already a member of the coalition of fighters and provided repair of delivered aircraft and training of Ukrainian pilots. Thank you, Belgium. In Kharkiv, a medical complex was attacked during the night. At the time of the rocket attack, more than 1,000 people were in the building of the medical complex, 900 patients and 250 staff. The rockets hit the ground. The missiles hit the ground. There is one wounded person. The degree the severity of their wounds is light. The shockwave knocked out windows in several buildings, damaged roofs, power lines, water supply, and other engineering communications, reported Mayor Ihor Terechov. I mean, we know that Russia consistently keeps targeting Kharkiv, and it's so easy to do for them because Kharkiv is 30 kilometers from Russia's border. And thank you for becoming a member of the TikTok live. I really, really appreciate that. Thanks. This is what that looked like, and this is the attack on a Kharkiv. So yeah, this was the attack on the Kharkiv medical complex. Thank God that the missile landed in the ground, not, didn't land in the building. An interesting bit here. Germany and France approve plan to jointly develop tank of the future. In Paris, Le Cornu and Pistorius signed a memorandum of understanding, establishing an equal share in the industrial production of the MGSC, main combat system of ground-based combat tank. The MGSC will consist of a system of manned and unmanned vehicles and will use artificial intelligence and laser technology. The memorandum identifies the manufacturers who will be responsible for key components of the tank systems, including platforms, turrets, and guns. Lasers? Jewish space lasers? I don't know why anytime I hear any weapon have like lasers on it or anything similar, it's like in my head, it's like old Greg's voice and it's like lasers, Jewish space lasers. Also, thank you so much, Walter. So Walter says, love to Ukraine. I think better days are ahead for Ukraine. Most people love the beautiful men and women of Ukraine. Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet. Thank you for your super sticker or super chat. I think that's a super chat. I'm not quite there on the terminology yet. There was loud explosion in Odessa. No air alert either. That's probably ballistics because ballistics something hits before the air raid turns on. Thank you, radio. Thank you so much. Old Greg, I got a mangina. Yeah, exactly. I always think of MTG complaining about space lasers causing wildfires. Well, yeah, me too, but also I just feel like it's funnier to like put an old Greg voice on that because I mean, no one in their right mind will be talking about Jewish space lasers. At Ramstein, Spain confirms plans to ship Patriot missiles to Ukraine. Thank you. We genuinely really, really need those to better protect skies in cities like Odessa. Belgium will allocate 200 million euros to Germany's initiative to find air defense systems for Ukraine. So Belgium and Spain, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. So here is an interesting thing. Politico released an article according to which Zelensky informed Johnson that Ukraine's ability to sustain itself without further U.S. military aid would extend only until March or April, beyond which their arsenal would be depleted. And that's what Politico thinks triggered Johnson. So following this discussion, a source from the House of Representatives disclosed that Johnson opted to endorse aid to Ukraine by this time frame and directed the preparation of a corresponding bill. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because we have been struggling for a while and there has been so much death and destruction, and I don't think Mike Johnson really cares. I think it's politically motivated. It's not motivated by Zelensky telling him that, we're going to run out of ammo, like he cares. So yeah, I'm going to hold my thoughts on this one because I just don't buy it. Anyways, thanks for the package, Moscow Mike. Japan has joined the International Coalition for the Return of Ukrainian Children, announced Ombudsman Dmytro Lubinets, which is also fantastic because we need that almost as much as we need the Patriots, because Ukrainian kids, Russia takes Ukrainian children and indoctrinates them and does horrendous things to them, brainwashes them, tells them that their parents are Nazis, tells them that their parents didn't want them, accuses their parents of horrendous crimes and things like that. Russia doesn't only kidnap orphans. Russia also kidnaps children that have families, which is wild. According to DW, opinions among Western observers regarding the impact of the US-approved aid to Ukraine are divided. But there is consensus that the coming months will remain extremely challenging for the Ukrainian armed forces. True, that's what I said. If this package were to come like 8 months ago, it would have changed a lot. Now it's just only going to even out the playing field. A researcher in the International Institute for Strategic Studies in London noted that while the ammunition sent by the US is crucial, it may still be insufficient for Ukrainian forces to plan offensive operations. It will not be sufficient. In addition, Western weapons do not address the problem of manpower shortages in the Ukrainian army. Analysts at the Kiel Institute for the World Economy also believe that U.S. aid, while important, will not fundamentally change the situation on the front lines. In general, it does not change the rules of the game and will only provide temporary relief. Yes, we need more, and we need more modern systems, the things that we have been asking for. We need quantities. Under the current circumstances, Kelly Greco, a researcher associate at the Washington-based Stimson Center, believes that Moscow continues to aim to overwhelm the West and Ukraine, benefiting from its numerical superiority in the army and its successful increase in artillery production. Some Western analysts, however, are optimistic that the acquisition of more long-range missiles and a sufficient number of F-16 fighter jets could turn the tide of the war in Ukraine's favor. That would. And that's why we need more long-range missiles and we need more F-16s, because that would actually quite dramatically change the playing field. Mike Martin, a senior researcher fellow at King's College London, sees a possible turning point, possibly in the summer, with a coordinated attack using ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles on the Crimean bridge. Its destruction would be a major symbolic blow to Russia. The recent American aid package effectively provides a temporary loan not only to Ukraine, but also Europe. Subsequent aid from us should follow, concluded Christian Melling, head of the Center for Security and Defense at the German Council on International Relations. And it does look like, the US announced the $6 billion package. It does look like Europe is announcing more packages. So is Germany. And I think, so is Germany. Europe is announcing more packages. So are other countries. So it does look like Germany is Europe. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. but it does look like, in general, it's being taken a lot more seriously, because I think the West is seeing what happens when they snooze, and that it was a horrendous and very, 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 very bad situation. So Australia. After a meeting with Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles, Prime Minister Dinesh Mohal announced that Australia is preparing a new $100 million aid package for Ukraine. Half of the amount will be allocated for a significant batch of manpads, while over $30 million will be designated for drones. He added, additionally, Australia will provide air-to-ground munitions to Ukraine. Shmahal expressed gratitude, noting that Australia's support for Ukraine has already exceeded $655 million, with $540 million allocated for military aid. We highly appreciate the solidarity of the Australian people with Ukraine, he concluded. We do. Thank you very much, mates. Thanks, mate. That was probably a horrendous Australian accent, but nor. In a powerful act of defiance, which it truly is, because as you know, Slovakia, they have Fico, whatever, I don't care to pronounce his name right, and he is incredibly pro-Russian, and Slovakia as government is very pro-Russian, Russophilic, and anti-Ukrainian, but in a powerful act of defiance against Russia's aggression, ordinary Slovak citizens are stepping up where their government has failed. They've launched a massive crowdfunding campaign to arm Ukraine, and their efforts are backed by an inspiring figure, 99-year-old Holocaust survivor Otto Simko. So Slovaks, I believe, already raised about 2 million on their own without their government, in fact, despite their government. And that's very inspiring because, the people of Slovakia truly don't support this madness and they don't support Russia. And obviously, Fitzo's campaign. I know, I just don't care to actually. I want to pronounce his name wrong. He sucks. His campaign, was obviously sponsored by Russia, and Russia very much helped to install him because he's a very favorable figure, and Russia loves spending money on horrendous politicians that are very anti-democratic. Ukraine requires at least 7 Patriot systems, and we cannot afford to delay, emphasized Zelensky. And I agree with him, provided that, I would like to see Zaporizhia, Odessa, Kharkiv, Kherson, and a lot of other cities much better protected because they really, truly need it. Also, Denmark, not leaving you out either, The press service of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has announced that Denmark will purchase weapons directly from Ukrainian manufacturers for 200 million Danish kroner. Thank you. And that is it for today. Or for tonight. And I just got so tired out of nowhere. Also, you guys, I got a robe for myself. This is how you know I'm aging. You know, I feel like a robe is a very like adult thing to get for yourself. I have a robe now, and it's the most comfortable thing I've ever owned. I don't think I will ever wear anything else indoors. In my apartment, this is so comfortable. I don't know how I lived without it. It's like good for after the shower. It's good for just, you know, life. I love it. I don't understand why more people don't wear robes. Thank you. Hi. Oh, and thank you. And hi, Mexicaniana. Oh, that's so cute. Wait, that's like Mexicana, Ukrainiana. That's so cool. Mexicaniana. That's adorable. I love that. So our fundraiser is at $2,567.69. Someone please fix this awful situation with the 69 cents if you can, and if you can't, that's totally fine too. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go to sleep, and I will see you guys either tomorrow or the day before. Rick is streaming tomorrow evening. Oh, I might not stay up long enough, because when Rick is streaming, I usually try to stream like, you know, deep into his stream when he's like counting donations. So, you know, you get to see both. And I think I've been getting tired more like I've been getting tired earlier. Okay. Good night, guys. Oh, on Venmo. Let me see. Thank you for letting me know. I did not get notifications. Maybe someone else also donated on Venmo. That's a good point. One sec. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think there have been more donations. Oh my god, you guys. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, so there is a virtual particle for a donation of $50, which buys them 2 tickets. That is wow. Okay. Venmo for some reason hasn't been notifying me. $5.02 donation from John. $5.02. And then Rachel for $25. So we actually leave the stream today with $2,647.71. I don't think I did, Magda. I think I might have. I've seen every donation and I put it into the total. I just might not have announced it. 1 second. I have here. I have Paul, I have Notabotter, I have Jason, I have Chad, I have Paul, a different Paul. I have Rolf, and I want to win stuff. I have Mark K, I have Paul D, I have Jason, I have Frank, I have Grumpy, I have Lynn, and a couple of days ago when you donated. Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, and I want to win stuff. Yeah, I did count that in. I just might have not announced it, but oh, cool. It's good to put TikTok usernames and YouTube usernames to people's names. Awesome. Thank you so much. So that is 2 tickets. Oh, yeah. 1 second. Okay. You guys, see you tomorrow. I am so tired. I will see you later. Okay. Good night. All right. Bye, guys.